Okay then guys, this is part 3 of my rapid fat loss blueprint and my how to lose weight video series. Today we're going to be looking at common nutritional mistakes that most people make and exactly how you should to eat if you want your perfect body. So let's get cracking. Think about this for just 1 second. Where is it that you get all of your nutritional information from? Okay, think about it. And the main place that we all get our nutritional information from, the vast majority of people, is advertising. People paying to tell you that their stuff is healthy and good for you and is going to do wonders for your health and weight loss. Nothing you can see on this page is actually any good for you, yet you'll see 100 commercials a day that tell you this stuff is going to do wonders for you. Okay, it's going to do nothing of the sort. Everything you see on there is going to make you fat, is going to make you eventually unwell and sick. Okay. Other place you might get your nutritional information from is the government. Now, they suggest 6 servings of bread, cereals, pasta and potatoes a day. Now, that's a recipe for massive fat gain, if ever I saw one. You need to completely cut grains out of your diet for as much as you possibly can. Those are the biggest reasons, one of the biggest reasons you're currently overweight and struggling. They also suggest only 5 servings of fruit and veg a day. 3 servings of milk and cheese and yogurt. Well, you should cut those completely out of your diet if possible, as much as possible. Eggs are okay in terms of dairy, but other than that, you need to avoid it. 2 servings of meat and fish. Okay, only a tiny small serving of protein. And obviously, the one they got right was just sparingly use sweets and other sugars. Now, if you get your nutritional information from any of those 2 sources, then you're going backwards in terms of your health and in terms of being able to drop massive amounts of body fat. Okay, another little thing we're going to go on for then is calorie counting. Now, another misconception is what people think is, I'll cut down on my calories and cut down on what I'm having. Now, this is definitely a massively flawed approach to losing weight, because losing weight is more about quality rather than quantity. Losing weight, you won't lose weight just by cutting down on what you're eating. Just for example, if you think of the way, if you had 500 calories from fruit and vegetables and 500 calories from crisps and chocolates, the way that responds and reacts in your body is completely different. So it's still the same amount of calories, yet one is going to lean you more towards spiking insulin and being stored as fat. The fruit, the vegetables are going to be used. There's lots of nutrients in there. Whereas a crystal chocolate are void of nutrients, so they might have the same amount of calories, but the way they react and respond in your body is going to be completely different. So if you're using calorie counting to drop weight, again, completely forget it, ignore it. What you need to do then is start to watch your blood sugar levels. Okay, this is going to be one of the best things you can kind of learn to do for yourself if you want to keep your weight and kind of maintain where you're at. And if you're a bit overweight at the moment, you should also be able to use this to lower your weight over time. So what you need to do is start a low impact eating style, and by low impact I mean an eating style that doesn't spike your blood sugar levels. So this is a typical person, a day in the life of a typical person. So if we start over here, you wake up in the morning, you'll have your breakfast cereals and your piece of toast, and your blood sugar levels will go sky high through the roof. They'll keep continuing to rise, and then all of a sudden you'll have an energy crash. Okay, about maybe 10, 11 o'clock you'll get really, really hungry. So what you'll do, you'll be starving for your dinner. You'll have, maybe a cheese sandwich or something, or whatever, some kind of sandwich. Your blood sugar levels again will spike. You'll have a peak of energy, and again you'll crash. You come back home. You'll have your evening meal, might be pasta, and again you'll crash. After you've crashed, you'll have a massive insulin spike, and as you can see, this is where your insulin levels should be. That's normal blood sugar. You're going up and down all day. What you should be doing is following a plan that's going to balance your blood sugar levels and keep them at a fairly even keel throughout the day. So you get some protein in the morning, your blood sugar levels stay within a normal range, yet you've still got high amounts of energy. They'll dip again, but they'll last a lot longer than they would have done. So you'll be fuller for longer if you're following this approach. but then you eat something again at your dinner time, and again, if you're eating the right kind of thing, your blood sugar level should stay within that certain range throughout the day. And if you're doing that, then you're not going to be prone to storing body fat. Okay, so you need to learn how to balance your blood sugar levels. So if you're not familiar with the glycemic index, you need to get familiar with it. This is just a few examples of kind of some high glycemic foods that will spike your blood sugar. So glucose, what the glycemic index is a chart, a scale of 0 to 100, 100 being the highest, 0 being the lowest, in terms of how quickly that food turns to sugar. Now 100 will turn to sugar. Glucose is sugar, and it'll respond as such when it's inside your body. Cornflakes, 92, so it's not far off sugar, instant sugar. Cornflake, crunchy nut, they're all in the high 70s. All these kind of things you're probably having for breakfast that you think are healthy, you're probably giving them your kids too before they go off to school. Even some of the muesli that you might think is a little bit better, but it's kind of still high on the glycemic scale. A baguette, again, you're probably having one of those most dinner times, 95. And another one, baked potatoes, again, that you might think is a healthy option, scoring at 85. So you need to be wary of the glycemic index and how glycemic and how starchy certain foods are. Okay, so make yourself familiar with that. One good tip though with the glycemic index is if you're having some of those foods and you add protein and you add fibre to those meals, that will actually lower the glycemic index of the overall meal. So instead of it spiking your blood sugar quite rapidly as it does, what it will do is it provide that energy over a much longer period of time. Okay, so it's much better if if you do have some of those, to make sure you're getting high amounts of protein with it, so it'll just slow it down a little bit. Okay, and won't spike your blood sugar levels quite as rapidly. There's a bit of an example of that. 50 grams of glucose spike the blood sugar there after about half an hour, massive spike, and after about half an hour you had a real rapid decline, crash. Same thing, 50 grams of glucose but with 14.5 grams of fibre, that's quite a lot, a high amount of fibre. There you'll see like a much more even keel kind of blood sugar score. So that's what you're after. Include protein and fibre and you'll be fine. Okay, just remember these few facts then before we move on. Insulin release equals stored body fat. So if you're spiking your blood sugar levels constantly, you're constantly in fat storage mode. Okay, you don't want to be spiking blood sugar. Using the rice cakes as an example, has about 45 calories in a rice cake and no fat. Most people think they're really healthy if they're eating rice cakes, but these will make you really, really fat. And the reason is they're quickly converted to sugar because the puffed rice that's used in them is really highly glycemic. Okay, and it scores high on the glycemic chart. Eating high glycemic foods will generate the insulin response that causes us to store rather than burn fat, which we've discussed. And protein and fibre slow down the release of sugar. So remember those facts. Okay, and this is the kind of style you need to be eating. A Paleolithic kind of diet. You might have heard it as a caveman diet or a Stone Age diet as well. If you follow this kind of eating plan, it'll be the last diet, so-called diet in quotation marks, that you'll ever really need. Okay, because it's the only kind of eating plan that you should be following on a consistent weekly basis. And it's based on the way that we're genetically designed to eat and the way that we've been thriving on for the last 2.5 million years. So as humans, we've been evolving for the last 2.5 million years, and these are the foods that we evolved when we ate when we evolved. Okay, and they come from 5 basic food groups, and they are meat, fish, vegetables, fruit, nuts, and seeds. Okay, so if you're eating foods that come from those categories, you will easily lose the weight really quickly. Okay, not a problem at all. It'll rapidly drop off. Okay, so as I was saying earlier, we evolved over the last 2.5 million years, but the human genome evolves at about 0.01% every 10,000 years. So in evolutionary terms, we're almost identical to our hunter-gatherer ancestors. Okay, so we've hardly changed. it's a speck on the map of evolutionary time that we've been around, and we're almost identical. So the foods, the way we should eat, the way we should live, should be in alignment with the way our hunter-gatherers were. So we've been unable to keep pace with the advances in agriculture. The way agriculture has moved on so rapidly over the last 150 years, the human body just hasn't been able to keep up to pace with it. And we're not genetically programmed to thrive on a modern diet, which is why you see such massive increases in obesity, heart diseases, cancers and diabetes, and those kind of degenerative diseases like arthritis as well. Throw that one in there as well. This chart, this is a chart of carbohydrate intake in primitive man, so our Paleolithic ancestors, our cavemen, would have eaten 99% of their carbohydrate intake would have been from vegetables, fruits, roots, legumes and nuts. 99%, then 1% of their diet would have come from whole cereal grains, because it just wasn't something we evolved to eat. If you look at our modern diet today, refined grains makes up 59%. Okay, used to make up 1%, it's now almost 60%. The other is 18% comes from artificial, that should give it away a little bit, sugars and sweeteners, and only 23% of the diet now comes from vegetables, fruits, legumes, nuts. That is what it should come from. Okay, it's quite shocking. Reverse that around, you'll be on the way to fat loss, without a shadow of a doubt. Key principles then you need to abide by. Habit 1 is try and eat lean protein with each and every meal. So lean red meat, white meat or fish. Okay, with every single meal. Habit 2, eat as many vegetables as you want with each and every single meal. Okay, habit 3, if you're looking to lose fat, then you can eat your veggies and fruits with any meal. Other carbohydrates only after exercise. Okay. Habit 4, eat healthy fats daily. Split equally between saturated fats, monounsaturated and polyunsaturated. So some examples of you there. Now a great tip here, if you're cooking with fats, if you're cooking with oils, is to go with coconut oil. Coconut oil is the best fat, the most healthiest fat that you can cook with. Palm oil is another good one, but feel free to add those into your diet. Okay, again, and cook with those. Other kind of fats you can have like olive oil, but don't cook with. And that's quite an important tip there. Habit 5 then, drink only non-calorie containing beverages. The best choice obviously being water and green teas. Habit 6, try and eat mostly whole foods and eliminate refined and processed foods out of your diet. Habit 7 then, plan and prepare your food. Can't mention enough how being planned and prepared will make a massive impact. If you haven't got a plan, you're preparing to fail. There's no doubt about that. If you know what you're doing, it's so much easier to follow. Habit 8, eat a wide variety of as many good foods in as many different colours as possible. Habit 9, eat whatever you like for 20% of your week. So you can have your cheat meals, you can have those times when you do have those crappy foods, the ones that I've told you shouldn't eat. If you eat those for only 20% of your week, then you're still going to be able to stop storing fat and burn body fat that you've already got at the moment. Okay, but as we've already discussed in the previous video, this will work even better if you've gone through a nutritional cleansing period, which we've already gone through in the previous video. So then you might want to pause the video here if you want to check out some of these foods and write them down. But these, if you stick to making your meals from these foods, you'll easily drop the body fat. You'll easily lose weight nice and quickly. Okay, so take a look at those, and those are the best kind of foods. Next one, these are the foods that you should eat. Again, this one and that one are the foods that should make up the 20% of your day. You 20% of your week. Sorry. Ideally from these ones, and we should ideally, in an ideal world, you'd cut these out completely, but minimise them as much as possible on the red one. Okay, so let's summarise all of that and put you some action points in place. Let's go. First of all, don't get your health and nutrition information from TV, magazines or radio advertising. Okay, that's going to set you back a long way. Ignore any paid advertising. Second of all, don't follow the government's food pyramid. We've gone through that. Third one, don't waste your time counting calories, okay? Pointless. Step 4, watch your blood sugar levels by avoiding high glycemic foods such as bread, potatoes, pasta, cereals, and make sure you eat protein with each and every meal. Okay, follow number 4 there, follow what I've just said, and you'll easily drop weight. It'll come off quick. Step 5 then, follow a Paleolithic eating plan consisting of meat, fish, fruit, vegetables, nuts and seeds. That's all the foods in the green chart, and for 20% of your day, you're allowed, your week, sorry, for 20% of your week you're allowed to cheat. That would be the orange and red charts that you've seen already. Okay, so that's it guys, that's everything, that's part 3, all the common nutritional mistakes that you and how to eat for your perfect body. Next we're going to be sticking with the nutrition theme, and we're going to look at other nutrition considerations to help you optimise your health and further increase your fat loss. So make sure you go check that out, and we'll be seeing you soon.